I had no idea the elf was a duke, nor can I say why I claimed all that was his, but the queen just acknowledged and verified it, so I guess it is a done deal. I will have to get Sam to find out exactly what I claimed and what my responsibilities will be. Get your hands away from me. I don't need your help. You never offered any aid to me any of the other times that my father hit me, so don't bother now that he is dead. Hearing this, I turn back to the princess and see a male elf with his hand out to help her stand up. But princess, you know what he would have done to me if I had tried to interfere in the slightest, he whined. Sighing, the princess responded, yes, I know what he would have done, and I'll do my best to remember that. But I also don't want you to try being gallant now. It won't make me feel any different about you or most male elves. Turning to me, she holds her hand out and I grab it, helping her to her feet. Looking me over, she asks, Sire, are you okay? Were you hurt at all? I am fine, princess, though I am sorry for your loss. I did not know he was your father, and while I am not sorry I intervened after he hit you, I regret that it ended with his death. How are you, princess? Did you hurt anything when he hit you and knocked you down? No, sire, I too am fine. I thank you for intervening on my behalf. No one ever has before. As for him being my father, I had no love for him and will not miss him. He had no love for me either, nor anyone else for that matter. His only loves were money and power. Sire, I may not have loved him, but I do love my half-sister and her mother. I would ask that you treat them fairly once everything is turned over to you. Princess, I have no idea what will be turned over to me or when it will be, but I can assure you that everyone will be treated fairly. I will probably need your help deciding what I will do with everything, as you would be more knowledgeable about everything than I would be. Of course, I will help you in any way I can, sire. Sire, you have claimed all that was his. That includes me as well. I am yours. More so than that, though, I give myself to you of my own free will. I know you will not be living on Elven, but I wish to stay with you wherever that may be. I will be your lover, a part of your seraglio, or even your servant if that is your desire. I want to take your house name and be known as de Sanderson. Anything, just please take me with you when you leave. Turning to the queen, she continues, Queen Buhalia, I will revoke my title and all that comes with it, if you will allow me to go with Guardian Prime. Queen Bee sighs and replies, revoking your title won't be necessary, Third Princess Dalahila. If Guardian Prime is willing to take you with him, I will give you my blessing to go. They both turn to look at me to see what I have to say. Now hold on just a minute, ladies. We need to talk about this. First, though, can we get this area cleaned up? Can someone take care of the body? Is there somewhere we can go to discuss this? A couple of the elves come and remove the body, and soon cleaners are doing what they can to remove what little blood got onto the deck. Once that is done, the queen and the princess turn back, looking at me again. Are you sure you want to talk about this with everyone around? They just continue looking at me. Okay then. First off, princess, why did you call me my love when you warned me about the attack? The princess blushed and looked down briefly before looking me in the face again. I don't know why I said those words, sire, but they feel right. I feel a very strong attraction to your princess, but there are things you need to know about me that might change any love you think you feel for me. Looking at Sam before turning back to me, the princess replies, Sire, I know there is at least one you love at this time, and that there may be others now and in the future. I am fine with that and want to get to know her as well. I already feel you in my heart, and I hope you will come to love me as you do her, and that she and I will come to love each other as well. But no one knows the future. I also know what probably happened between you and the queen on your ship, and that Queen Buhalia is now your consort. While not happy about it, I will not cause any problems regarding it. Girls, what do you think? I'd love for her to come with us and see if there is more to our mutual attractions, but not if any of you disagrees. Sire, all of us agree and want the opportunity to get to know her as well. Tell her the truth, that there are 3 of us and that we all love each other in every way. If she doesn't balk at that, we say, let's give it a chance. Princess, you are very perceptive to see my feelings for Sam from just the short time we've been on board the ship. You need to know that there are two others besides Sam that I love. It works because we are honest with each one another and all love each other in every way. It's not all about me. If this doesn't bother you, then we want you to know that we welcome you into our lives and look forward to getting to know you." The princess squeals in delight, jumping into my arms and hugging me tightly, saying thank you over and over again. Sam moves up beside us and the princess wraps her in a hug, thanking her as well before giving her a small kiss on the lips. "Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sharing him with me. I will have to thank the other two when I meet them. I am now third Princess de Sanderson, but please just call me de Sanderson." "You are very welcome, de Sanderson, and welcome to our family. You will meet the other two later, as they are on duty at the moment. My name is Samantha, but please call me Sam." No kiss for me, princess? And my name is Didius, but call me DD, okay?" The princess looks up at me and says she would have kissed me too, but she couldn't reach my lips, so I lean over, give her a nice soft kiss. She slowly opens her eyes and looks up at me. "That was a beautiful kiss, sire. I hope the first of many." "Thank you." "It was my pleasure, princess, and if I have any say, there will be many more to come." "Please, sire, don't call me princess anymore. I have taken your house name and would like everyone to call me de Sanderson now." "Okay then, but you need to call me DD and not sire." De Sanderson doesn't feel right though. It feels like an ownership name to me. What would you say to being called Delilah?" "Delilah Sanderson? Is that how people are named where you live? With two names?" "Being D. Sanderson will have great significance on Elven, but none elsewhere. If this is what you want, I will agree." "Sorry, I should have given you my full name. My full name is Didius Sanderson. Didius being my first name, the name given to me by my parents, and Sanderson being my familial name. Where we live, we go by our first names on a daily basis, while familial names are included in more formal settings as a sign of respect for another, or a few other times when appropriate." I could see tears form in her eyes as she looked at me. "You will let me use your family name?" Yes, I would be honored to be known as Delilah Sanderson." I pull her into my arms and give her another soft kiss, wishing we weren't in a public place. Ahem. Ah, yes, we shouldn't forget all the others around us at the moment. We step back from each other while Sam comes to my right side and Delilah slips to my left. "Well, Queen Buhalia, I believe we have some things to discuss, and I have some new assets to go over. I am sorry to say that these will have to wait for another time, as I have several pending meetings and other immediate responsibilities that cannot be rescheduled. What do you say to your returning to Elven, and we will meet you shortly before you arrive in the Elven system? We will then travel with you the rest of the way. We will be traveling for many weeks returning home. How will you be able to meet us weeks from now, shortly before we arrive back in our system, while leaving well after we do? It only took us 14 hours to safely arrive here from Arcadia. Let me ask the commander how long it would to safely travel from here to the Elven system." "Commander, this is Guardian Prime. Can you hear me?" "Yes, I can hear you clearly, sire. How may I be of assistance?" "Commander, how long would it take for the J&J to safely travel to the Elven system from here?" "Sire, traveling with your PG, it would take 10 hours to safely travel to the Elven system from here." Of course, as soon as she hears 10 hours travel time, the Queen goes into a rant. I look around to see everyone's reaction, and all the Elven appear to be very busy at their tasks. I let her go on for a bit before deciding to shut her down. "Enough of your ranting. I don't care if it took you almost 13 weeks to travel here. You know you have no claim to anything under the old GCAP contracts. You need to decide now if you want there to be any possible future talks between us, or are you going to continue to bitch and rant and rave?" "Well, what's it going to be?" It was easy to tell Queen Bee was in capital B mode. Her face was red in anger, and she was clenching and unclenching her hands as she stared at me. Finally, her face started to return to its normal color, and she says, "Fine, we shall travel back to Elven and meet you there." "Good choice. Now, do you have enough of everything for the return trip? Do you need fuel, replicator matter, or any other supplies? Capitaine, are we in need of anything for our return trip to Elven?" "Your Highness, yes, we would need to fill our fuel and replicator reserves before the return trip." The Queen looks at me, so I ask, "Riker, this is Guardian Prime. Can you hear me?" "Yes, I can, sire. How may I be of assistance?" Do we have fuel and replicator matter for the elven, so they may return home? Please first answer me quickly via my comms implant before we decide what everyone should hear. Yes, we do, sire. They use a combination of space gases for fuel our replicators can replicate, though they do not have that level of technology yet. You can offer them a collector which can be added to their fuel system in 6 hours. This would allow them to collect their fuel when traveling. The replicator matter could be transferred to their storage during that time. Okay, tell me that, so everyone can hear but bump the hours needed up to 12 and don't mention replicating their fuel. We have someone we want to get to know here. As you wish, sire. Yes, we do, sire. Fuel and replicator matter can be transferred from your ship to the elven ship in approximately 12 hours. If you wish, sire, the androids can install a collector in the elven ship's fuel system that will allow them to collect fuel while traveling. Thank you, Riker. I look at Queen Bee and continue. Well, you heard the man, Queen Buhalia. 12 hours before you will be ready to go. Shall we go ahead and get started? And would you like the collector installed at the same time? Yes, Guardian Prime. Please commence the transfers and installation of the collector. I nod to the Queen. Commander, please start the transfers and collector installation. Ensure the necessary elven are instructed in the operation of the collector if required. Yes, sire. Transfers have begun as requested. Thank you, Commander. It is easy to tell the Queen is still in a bit of a huff as she says, Can we go to my lounge now and discuss a few things while everything is going on? I nod in the affirmative. Commander, please let me know 1 hour before everything has been completed. As you wish, sire. I turn to Delilah and ask, Delilah, do you want to leave with us on the J&J when the time comes or return to Elven and wait for us to come there? My home is with you now, Dee. Can I grab a few things to bring with me? You can bring anything of yours that you want to bring, Delilah, unless it is forbidden by Elven law or the Queen, of course. Sam can help you if you want, and she knows what is illegal on Arcadia. Can you show Sam your father's personal effects and anything else of his you think I should take with me now? Sam, make sure everything is transferred to our suite on the J&J. Delilah gives me another big hug and kiss. Thank you, Dee. Sam, can we go get my things now, and I'll show what we should take of the Dukes? Just a second, Delilah. I need to get a couple of Dee's people here first. 2, 2, 2, 3. Report to me on board the Elven ship, please. We are already here, Sam. Yes, I know that, but the Elven don't, and I don't want them to know our security is not visible. Sam, make sure you explain everything to Delilah, even about you 3 being first. No secrets, okay? Yes, you are right, Dee. No secrets. 2 and 2 war. 3 appear and give me a hug and small kiss before going over to Sam. Hi, Sam. What's up? Girls, this is Delilah Sanderson, formerly 3rd Princess Dalahilla of Elven. She is now part of our family and will be coming with us. Delilah, these are the other 2 loves in Dee's and my life. Sam introduces Delilah to 2 and 2, 3, and then tells them to take care of me as she is going to help Delilah pack for moving to the J&J. Can we call 2, 4 and 2, 5 to stay with Guardian Prime and we'll help you move? We can start getting to know Delilah as well. Sam agrees, so 2, 4 and 2, 5 show up, and the 4 of them give me a quick kiss before going off to wherever chatting to each other as if they've been BFS, best friends, forever. Well, it seems they may get along well together. However, will you keep up with 4 women? I look over and see the Queen with a big smirk on her face. I have a big grin on my face as I turn to the Queen saying, I don't know, but I'm sure I'll love every minute of trying. Well, Your Highness, shall we go to your lounge? The Queen leads the way on the short walk to her lounge. Once inside, she turns and gives me a passionate kiss before stepping back and asking if I'd like anything to drink or eat. I have no idea about Elven food or drink, so I ask her if I can get something like a sampler plate of Elven cuisine and a non-alcoholic drink. She says she knows just what to get me, and a scantily clad serving girl comes running when the Queen rings a little bell. The Queen notices I frown when the girl came running in, took the order from the Queen, then ran back out and asked if there was a problem. I tell her, I don't like slavery. Why don't you like slaves? That is not what I said. I said I don't like slavery, the forcing of people to be slaves for others. I will never condone it, nor will it ever be allowed on Arcadia or any alliance I am part of. You do know it was forbidden by the old GC app? Slaves have been on Elven since before we traveled into space. It would be impossible to replace them. Free them and pay them for their work, and you probably wouldn't have to replace them. Just something to think about. The serving girl comes back with a tray of bite-sized pieces of what looks like meats, cheeses, and fruits, and a glass with what looks like the old lava lamp juice in it. She gave me a big smile as she backed away before turning and leaving. The food was okay though bland, well except for the seafood bites. They were delicious. The drink was okay too, but very, very sweet. So, sire, what do I owe you for the fuel, replicator matter, and collector? Nothing, Queen Bee. You owe us nothing. We offered everything to you with no strings attached. Something else I will offer. And no, it is not any of our tech. I hope to reopen the Guardian Academy in the near future. When it opens and if we have an alliance in place, Elven can apply to attend the courses offered and become Guardians again. If the Guardian Academy is not something you learned of when you read about GCAP, let me know and I will send you its history. While its history was great, I want its future to be even better. I do know about the Guardian Academy. Admittance there was sought after by many races. Even non-GCAP races, though they knew that would never happen. I think we Elven would like to send students there again. Queen Bee and I showered, dressed, and are chatting when the quartet show up and tell me that all of Delilah's things have been moved, though there wasn't that much, so they may have a shopping trip in their future. And all of the Duke's personal effects have been moved to our suite as well. I just groaned, causing them all to laugh. Queen Bee gives us a tour of her ship, and after a couple of hours, we had managed to see it all. Sire, 1 hour until all transfers have been completed. The collector has been installed, tested, and the Elven are knowledgeable in its operation as it is very similar to their orbital collector, just many times smaller. Thank you, Commander. We bid our goodbyes to the Queen, First Princess and Lord Giorgio, then transport back to the J&J and watch the Elven depart the system. Sam, have some first. Keep tabs on the Elven ship and its occupants. I'd rather have no more surprises for a while. Commander, are we ready to return to Arcadia? Ready whenever you are, sire. Commander, return to Arcadia best speed to arrive in 30 minutes, please, with a slow approach on arriving so the newest member of our family can enjoy the view. Return to Arcadia best speed to arrive in 30 minutes with a slow approach on arriving so we can give Delilah a great view. Okay, we got 30 minutes until we are back in Arcadia. Does anyone want food or anything to drink? 30 minutes? We're going to be at Arcadia in 30 minutes? How can that be? You said it took 14 hours to travel here? It took 14 hours to safely travel to meet you. We don't have to worry about fuel or anything when arriving at Arcadia because there is a refueling station there and we know the system is secure. Back in our suite, the girl showed me that Delilah was moved in and we introduced her to Chef as I got a meal. I was starving. Delilah was skeptical about the food, so she first tried a bit of my steak, then some of my baked potato with bacon bits and sour cream, and then some of my glazed baby carrots. Damn it, I think she's going to eat it all. I figure fuck it, go get another order from Chef and sit down as she does end up eating my dinner. Sire, 10 minutes to arrival at Arcadia. Thank you, Commander. Sam, can you bring the view up, please? I keep a sidelong glance at Delilah as we arrive and, yep, by her look, she thinks the view is at least very pretty. And Delilah loves the house. I introduce her to Casa and get her set up so she can come and go freely, and after a quick tour, we gather in the living room. Okay, we'll spend 2 days here in Guardian City showing Delilah the sights, then we have to go to Earth and complete our commitments there. Does anyone have any questions, or is there anything else? Sire, I have something if you have a minute. One. Sure. What can I do for you? You can start hand-to-hand and combat situational awareness. Training is what you can do for me and your security teams. You did not hear the Duke when he started his attack on you, and you would not have known of the attack if not for Delilah's warning. Then you were too slow to move when you did get the warning. Any slower and he would have hit you in the back with the dagger. If you did not have a body shield or your uniform on, your security would have zapped the Duke before Delilah warned you. We did not, though, as the attack was not life-threatening, and I wanted to see how you would react. And you need to talk to Delilah about her getting a body shield as well. You are right, I didn't hear him coming at me, but I didn't think I moved slowly once I was warned. But if my security feels I need training, then I will take the training. Get with Sam once you have a training regimen and schedule a time for the training. I'd prefer first thing in the morning if possible, and we will talk with Delilah about a body shield, ULT, and medical checks over the next few days. If she agrees to them, they can be done while in Earth system or on our way back to Arcadia. Delilah, I will insist that you get a body shield once we have explained everything to you. With a body shield, I will know you will be safe from harm. Now I am beat and need a nap. Anyone else, Delilah? I know you've only been with us a day, and I understand if you want your own suite for a while. Oh, no, DD, Delilah said, interrupting me. The girls have already told me if I want it, my place is with you and them, and that is where I want to be. They have also told me the basic rules. We are honest and faithful to each other. These rules make me want to be with all of you even more. They also told me that you got their approval before taking the queen up on her obeisance. And now that I am part of the family, I could now nix any further encounters between you and the queen. However, I agree with them that they will have to continue for the time being to avoid any potential problems. But I also know the queen has a few close female lovers and only seeks a male lover every few years or so. She says that last part with a grin on her face, and it puts smiles on my other ladies as well. With that, we strip down, climb into bed, and make love with the newest member of our family. I end up spooned behind Delilah with Sam on the other side of Delilah, 2, 3 behind me, and 2 behind Sam. Delilah's boob feels good in my hand, I'm thinking as I wake from my slumber. Too bad I got to pee. How the fuck do I get out without waking anyone? I manage it and see the empty spot my leaving created is quickly filled as the girls all move closer together. I go do my business and contact Riker. Good afternoon, Riker. How were things while we were gone? Any news I need to know about? And please, no more surprises for a while, okay? Riker informs me that the 3 ACs have returned and the Bjorn Aura refineries will be in position soon. The 3 ACs will then join the BCs that have been completed, and there will be 3 complete PGs, 1 PG patrolling each of the Guardian solar systems. The 4th PG is almost completed, and then the 5th will be started, and he will let me know when it is done. News from Earth is that there is no news. Great. I thank Riker for the updates and tell him to send the 4th PG to scout the path of the swarm and check on how the Confederacy is doing in their fight against them. They are to remain cloaked at all times and not to contact the Confederacy unless they initiated the contact. They can attack the swarm, though, unless it will interfere with a Confederacy operation. I would like a status report on the situation once they can make one. I tell him to keep the 5th PG here for the moment, but it will be going to the Earth system just before my PG and the Star Cruiser come to Arcadia with our immigrants. I let him know to build a couple more PGs, as I believe it's better to have and not need to than need and not have. And in thinking ahead, we may need one for the elven system in the not-so-distant future. I also ask him what he thinks about doubling the number of BCs in a PG to 8. Overkill? Unnecessary. Riker says he doesn't consider it to be overkill or unnecessary. It's simply something they've never done before. They've always had 4 BCs, though he can't find any specific reason as to why that number. I tell him to double the number of BCs for each PG to 8, making it the new standard from now on, and to make enough BCs to bring the 5 PGs already made or in progress up to the new standard. He says it will be done. I also tell him not to go into full production with the ore refineries unless he thought it necessary, but to look for the rarer elements instead. Anything we or other races were short of. He said he would get it taken care of. I was at the table enjoying a coffee when the girls come in and give me a kiss before Sam shows Delilah where to get things like food and drinks from. Delilah is a little shocked to find out there are no replicators on Arcadia. I tell her she will get used to it. I say that Sam and the girls are even starting to lend a hand cooking. She has a puzzled look on her face that makes me laugh. She has no idea what cooking is. Okay, girls, we got today and tomorrow here, then we're off to Earth. What do you want to do? What would you like to see or do, Delilah? There are so many strange and different things here, Dee. I think it will take some time for me to learn and get used to everything. Please be patient with me. She looks sad and scared as she says this. I reach out to her and pull her onto my lap, enjoying the feeling of her snuggling up to me. Love, this is all new to me too. I'm sure we will all make mistakes. I know I will. It is only natural to do so when so much in your life changes, though I doubt any mistakes will be made on purpose or intentional. Just remember we are all in this together and we love each other. She nods her okay, saying, I will do my best, my love. Hey baby, that's all any of us can do, I said as the others all came in for a group hug. Of course, we showed Delilah the beach and ocean, but we also showed her Guardian Academy, which I told everyone I hope to open again soon after our first year here. I also mentioned that I had let Queen Bee know that Elven would be welcome to apply to attend if we had an alliance agreement. And Delilah found out that cooked food was just as good as replicated food. The girls had replicated a whole bunch of things that Delilah needed when on board the J&J, though, and said they will take her shopping once we were on Earth. It was once again time to go, and I let Sam know not to inform anyone of our return until we were going to see them. I wanted them to get used to working on their own. Sam said we would have to get numbers from Larry and Sarah ASAP, and we needed to see how much of the trade agreement had been fulfilled so far. On board the J&J, I said the magic words to the commander, and soon it was Hello Earth. Sam checked in with the commanders, and the system was quiet. No excitement plainside either. Earth governments had finally started asking the Confederacy for some of the tech and weapons they were supposed to give the Earth to fight the swarm, but nothing had been sent yet by the Confederacy. The trade agreement was around 65% completed, the replicators and refineries were running smoothly, the second refinery just having arrived, and Garbage Island has been reduced by 28%. Damn, that thing was big! It was Sunday evening, so we took Delilah down to Earth, showed her the apartment I used to live in. I had to put this up for sale, and just wandered around answering her questions. It was a quiet night, so we went to a local hangout to give Delilah a taste of spicy hot wings. I found out that none of the girls had ever had spicy hot wings before. I had told Delilah about the elven food tasting bland, except for the seafood, and she said she loved the seafood because it was so spicy. I don't know why she called it so spicy, so I figured I'd show her what spicy is on Earth. I ordered several different batches of wings, honey and garlic, teriyaki, smoldering hot, blazing hot, and burn the house down hot. I explained the differences in each of them and told them that no matter what, if it was too hot not to drink anything right away and to eat a piece of bread instead, as it would ease the burning sensation quicker. We were chatting and waiting for our order when one informed me my old friends were coming our way. I looked and see Aline, Brenda, and Cassandra. Sam sees them too and quickly explains to Delilah who they are and what happened. They stop at our table and Cassandra says, Hi, Dee, can we talk for a minute? Just the three of us and you? Hi, Cassandra girls. You can talk, but anything you can say in front of my girlfriends. You already know Sam and these other lovelies are Delilah, 2, and 2 will win 3. Ladies, these 3 girls are Cassandra, Brenda, and Aline. We dated for a little while a few months ago. So Cassandra, what do you want to say to me? We want to apologize for lying to you and for saying the things we did after you broke up with us. We followed Eve's lead and that was our mistake. We are truly sorry for what we said and hope you can forgive us. Brenda took a step forward with a twitch of her hips, causing Delilah to jump out of her chair and menacingly tell her, Back off, bitch. You had your chance. He's ours now and forever. Whoa, down there, Tiger, I said to her as I pulled her into my lap. Damn it, Brenda, we were just supposed to apologize and ask if he would forgive us. Not see if he was interested in a fuck, Aline said. I'm sorry, Dee, Brenda says with a sob. No one has treated me or made me feel like you did, and I hope that maybe I was stupid to think that, and stupid to think sex would change your mind. Don't hold my stupidity against Aline and Cassandra, please. It seems like all 3 of you are sorry and really mean it. What do you think, Tiger? They sound sincere, love. I believe them, but it is up to you if you forgive them or not. I didn't like that one twitching her ass at you, though. Only we get to do that to you. Girls, I believe you too, and forgive you and wish you all the best, though we won't be friends or lovers ever again. Dee, is there any chance you can take our names off the No Way Jose list? Cassandra asked. I look at Sam and she just shrugs. I tell you what I'll do. I'll take your names off the No Way Jose list and you can go to Arcadia if someone takes you as their concubine. Read on the website what that would entail. I'll also have a sponsors concubines connection area added to the site where those willing to be concubines can put their information, and those that are interested in concubines can then contact them. Test drives will be up to each person, but it will be made known that serial test drivers will lose their chance to go to Arcadia. That will hopefully prevent anyone from using potential concubines just for a strange piece of ass. Thanks, Dee Dee. We have been going over the website and almost know it by heart. You should know we no longer hang out with Eve and haven't for a while now. You should watch out for her, though, as she blames you for everything, and it was getting scary to see. Thanks again, Dee Dee. The girls turn and leave, and not even 2 minutes later our wings come. I told them to start with one of the honey and garlic or teriyaki ones first, and eyes light up as they taste them, saying they were so delicious. I try one of each, and they are very good. Next up, I try one of the blazing hot wings, thinking I will ease my way up to the burn the house down hot ones. Oh man, but that's hot. I grab a piece of bread and just hold it in my mouth for a couple minutes, waiting for the burning sensation to pass. Delilah is looking at me with eyes wide open. She picks up one of the smoldering hot wings and sticks her tongue out at the thing but doesn't touch it. I start laughing and tell her to taste it. She looks at me, takes a big bite, and immediately grabs for the glass of water, her eyes as big as saucers. I yell, "No, no, no," and give her some bread instead, telling her to hold it in her mouth for a bit, then swallow it and take another piece. Sam, 2, 3, are staring at her. Her face and neck are red. Her eyes are starting to tear up, but she is silent. People are looking at me and I just shrug and say, "She's a hot wings virgin." They laugh and some of them tell her not to worry, that they get better the more you eat them. She swallows the bread in her mouth and I tell her to take a drink now if she wants. That was so hot. I thought my lips were on fire, but it was good. "Can I try another one?" she asked, causing some laughter at our neighboring tables. They all ended up trying at least one of each, but only 2. 3, and I liked the hottest one, which left more for the 2 of us. The others just shook their heads watching us eat them. I paid our bill, and Sam transported us back to the J&J. All in all, it was a fun night. I asked Sam about them eating tonight when they never did before, and she said that they don't need to eat, but they did tonight for the experience, as they had no idea what spicy wings were all about. Delilah was exuberant and had a smile a mile wide. I've never been so happy in all my 92 years. I choke and look at each of my girls and jokingly say, "Well, I hope that all of you will still love me when I'm old, feeble, and can no longer get a hard-on." They all look at me as if asking what I am talking about, and Delilah comes right out and asks, "What are you talking about?" I point out that I know the first are ageless, and that the info I read on the elven doesn't say how long their lifespan is. It just says they are long-lived, while a human male's lifespan is around 80 years. So all of you will still be young and sexy-looking when I'm 80 and have wrinkles everywhere. Delilah looks shocked that my lifespan is so short, and Sam asked me if I remember what Riker said to me when he told me about becoming Guardian Prime. I said that he asked me if I'd become Guardian Prime of Arcadia and the Guardian Solar Systems. Sam corrects me, saying Riker said to me, and then she played his exact words, "We first will give you Arcadia and the Guardian Solar Systems if you agree to become their Eternal Guardian Prime." Sam goes on to say that Riker said it again after I had accepted, and he declared to all, "First, all hail Dadeus, the new Eternal Guardian Prime of Arcadia and the Guardian Solar Systems, and first of the first." Needless to say, I am more than a little stunned and ask how and when this was accomplished, and am I now immortal? Sam says that my picobots were given and would follow, what are known as the Guardian Prime protocols, meaning that while I was not immortal and can die, it would be very difficult to kill me. I was, however, immune to all diseases, toxins, aging, etc. I said nothing for a few minutes and then looked up at them all grinning. I guess I should ask if you all will be able to stand me after 90 years. Ha 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 ha. One pops in and tells me my hand-to-hand and combat situational awareness training will start first thing in the morning at the gym. Ugh, I had forgotten about that, but I'd be pretty stupid not to take the advice of my security. We decide to call it a night after we've each managed a couple orgasms. Yay, Monday morning. Up early, no stresses, My commander reports that there is nothing to report, so I grab a DD coffee from Chef before heading to the gym and my training session. The training was mostly sparring and correcting my mistakes until someone started throwing tennis balls at me while I was sparring. I was told I needed to be aware of what was happening around me, even when I was occupied. One explained to me to concentrate and visualize the area that surrounded me and try to know when someone or something entered that area. I slowly managed to be able to see the area that was around me and told one when I could. Then I saw a blur and a tennis ball hit me in the head. "What did you see?" One asked. "Shit, what the fuck, one?" I replied, rubbing my head. I could see the area around me. Then I saw a blur before getting hit in the fucking head with a tennis ball. Okay, good. You were able to visualize your surroundings, but not see or react quickly enough to something entering your surroundings. That will come with time and practice. I want you to try and visualize the areas around you whenever it is safe for you to do so. That means whenever you are on board one of your ships or when it is just you, your ladies, and your security. We are done for today, but be here at the same time every morning for a while. Okay, you got it, one. The girls are in the suite after my training, so I grab a quick shower, then a coffee and breakfast. Sam and the girls show up, and Dalila goes for a quick shower, while Sam tells me they had shown her another gym as they didn't want to disturb my training. I told her we could work out in the same gym as I was supposed to train for distractions too. The first keeping an eye on Eve and Larry reported in. Larry has been actively trying to get Eve on the list of people going to Arcadia. He has tried changing her status, tried deleting her name and re-adding it, and has even tried getting a fake Arcadia card for her. The first watching Eve thinks she has gone nuts. She is sweet and nice when with Larry and others, but goes psycho when alone, ranting and raving about how you fucked her over and ruined her life, how she was going to get Larry to take her to Arcadia, and then she could get close to you and win you back. Then she'd kill you and make the Arcadian people worship her. Obviously, something needs to be done about both of them. At the very least, they will be kept far away from you. I doubt Eve is going crazy, though I believe they say, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, so who knows? And I'm severely disappointed in Larry. This just goes to show that even our enhanced cap test isn't infallible. Keep an eye on them both for the time being. I'm getting an idea of how I want to deal with them, but want to think on it a little longer. Don't inform Larry that we're back yet. On to other things. Have the web first add the sponsor concubine section I mentioned last night to the website. Call Sarah and see how things are in her department. And we need an update on our other projects. Damn, we're back at work, aren't we? Delilah is watching raptly as Sam laughingly replies, Okay, first, Larry and Eve will continue being watched, but you need to deal with them ASAP. Second, the sponsor concubine section has been added with the warning about serial test drivers. I'll call Sarah at 9 a.m. and then give you a report. Sam updates me on the other things we have going on and says we should be able to leave for Arcadia within 2.5 months, giving us time to help people acclimate to Arcadia before running off to Elven. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, of course. Wow, you guys have a lot going on. Are you always this busy? Is there anything I can do to help? Some days are busier than others, Dalila. We seem busy today because we are getting caught up after being away for a while. There isn't much you can do to help right now, other than stay close and ask any questions you may have. We are learning as we go too. Sam, I have an idea how I would like to deal with our personnel problem if it is possible. Can 2, 2, and 2, 3 come here for a moment? I know they are on duty today, but I'd like all of your opinions on my idea. I explained my idea for dealing with Larry and Eve, and with our 5 scientists as well. While they say it is devious, they are all for it, so I asked Sam to contact Trank for me. I asked Trank if the Confederacy can help me with a personnel problem I have, and after a little back and forth, all we need is to let him know where and when we want it to happen. I tell Trank Sam will contact him as soon as we know, but it would be sooner rather than later. Sam, see if we can rent the private room at the steakhouse tonight for 7 p.m. If we can, send those 5 scientists that want to go to Arcadia and come back after 11 months a secure email asking them to be there tonight at 7 with their cap and Arcadia cards. Tell them they are being considered for a top-secret project and to have their families with them, as they may have to leave Earth right away. Remind them this is a top-secret project and they are not to mention it to anyone. Ensure they do not see who else got the email and have a first follow them to let us know what they have to say and if they will be there. Can you send messages between Larry and Eve telling them to be at the restaurant tonight too? Make it appear to Eve that Larry is inviting her to dinner there, and make it appear to Larry that Eve wants him to meet her there. Then once they've agreed, block any further contact between them. I'll want all my security teams there 30 minutes beforehand to ensure there are no Earth Firsters there or anyone with weapons. I was able to book the private room online for tonight and will let you know how things go with getting everyone there. I've informed Trank there is a possibility it may happen tonight and assured him your security was going to ensure there would be no danger to the Confederacy team. Excellent, Sam. Keep me informed, please. Sam called on Sarah, and while everything was going great, Sarah told Sam that the orphanage could easily be filled as there were almost 17,000 kids interested worldwide. Sarah asked about getting more residences built on Arcadia as the capacity, there was only 2,500 right now. Sam told her she'd talk to me about it and let her know ASAP. Sam also informed Sarah that the orphanage here on Earth would stay open until the swarm got too close and that she should find someone interested in taking over for her when she goes to Arcadia. Sarah said she knew just the person and would introduce her the next time we stopped by there. I had overheard some of the conversation and quickly agreed to take more orphans. The immediate area around the orphanage was easily large enough to build a university-style campus on, with housing for, say, 25,000 people, orphans and staff. Sam told me she'd get Riker to make the additions and she'd get all the kids checked out ASAP. Sam called Sarah back and gave her the news, letting her know we'd stop by tomorrow. I put off Sam's idea to take Delilah shopping today until tomorrow, saying that 2, and 3 would be available to go tomorrow too. Sam and Delilah both thought that would be even better. We took Delilah down to show her Arcadia R&D and introduce her to Dean and Mark. I threw them for a loop when I introduced Delilah to them as the Zanderson, third princess of Elven. They didn't know whether to curtsy or bow or what, ha ha ha. Delilah scowled at me and told them I was being a stinker, and that she was only the third princess when on Elven, and that she wanted to be known everywhere else as Delilah Sanderson. I explained to them how Delilah came to be with us, and that we'd be meeting up with the Queen's ship in a few months. I could see that both were maybe rethinking staying here on Earth and going to Arcadia for what could be the adventure of a lifetime. I let them both know once again that they'd be more than welcome to come if they changed their minds. We went for lunch then, back up to the J&J, and Sam is informed that Larry and Eve would be at the restaurant and that the scientists would be there too. She then informed Trank we were a go for tonight. I asked Sam to explain to Delilah the body shield, picobots, etc., and then asked Delilah if she will get a complete physical done. This way there will be medical info on her in case it was ever needed. I tell her again that I want her to get the body shield so I'd know she was protected. In the meantime, I was going to read more on the Elven and GC app. Then we'd do dinner here before going to the steakhouse.
Delilah let me know she had the body shield and complete physical done, and Sam said that there was info on Elven health characteristics already on file, though it was a couple 100 years old. Sam would have other first get up-to-date info from Elven as soon as possible. We had a seafood sampler dinner tonight. Well, Delilah and I had the seafood sampler as Sam decided to abstain from eating tonight. Simply meaning, we had chef give us several different seafood dishes from several different seafood restaurants. The food was good, but I'll admit it, that the seafood bites I had on Queen Bee's ship had a more memorable taste. Delilah said the mer raised and made the best seafood that she had ever eaten. Sam explained that the mer are what we called mermen and mermaids here on Earth. Cool. They really exist too. I asked Sam if it was possible to get some examples and recipes for our replicators and for use on Arcadia as well. Sam said no problem getting them for our replicators, but examples for Arcadia would have to wait until we could get physical specimens ourselves. It was time, so we let Trank know we were going to secure the restaurant now and transported down to the restaurant. Trank let Sam know they would be ready on their end, My security informed me the only weapons in the place were the knives and cleavers used in the kitchen and for eating, so we were good to go. Sam and I knew the scientists by sight and welcomed them as they arrived, showing them and their families to the private dining room. Once everyone was seated, I asked if they had their Arcadia and Confederacy cap cards with them, and to give them to Delilah as she passed by them. Delilah gave the cards to Sam, who took the Arcadia cards and gave the Confederacy cap cards back to Delilah, who returned them to their owners. 2-1 informed me that Larry and Eve had arrived and were seated at the far end of the main dining area. I apologized to the families of the scientists, telling them that they were here because I would not knowingly split families apart, and when the coming opportunity arrived, they could each make their own decisions. I then told the 5 scientists that I knew about their plan to go to Arcadia, learn all they could, and then return to Earth with the knowledge. I let them know that I was never going to let that happen and that they no longer were invited to Arcadia, and they also no longer had jobs at Arcadia R&D. Of course, they sputtered and denied everything, while their families just stared at them. I told them all was not lost, though, as there would be a Confederacy pickup happening momentarily, and they'd be leaving Earth anyways. That news caused an even bigger ruckus. One of the scientists' wives jumped up, asking if they had to go with their husbands to the Confederacy. I told her that would be their choice, as it would be a regular Confederacy pickup, and they could not be forced to go. I told her that she would also be free to try and get picked up by any other sponsor in the place tonight. I saw the gray curtain fall, then a few seconds later heard a voice boom out, "This is a Confederacy pickup," and a couple of the scientists' spouses stripped and run for the door. I guess they weren't interested in leaving with who they came with. Sam, Delilah, and I made our way past where the Marines were getting the pickup started and over to where Larry and Eve were. I could see the surprise in the eyes of both Larry and Eve as we stopped at their table. I confront them both and tell them there is no way Eve is going to Arcadia. Eve just keeps looking from Sam to Delilah and back to Sam. Larry whines that he loves her, and I should let him take her. I tell him he is in enough trouble with me, so don't push it. The orgy part of the pickup is underway, and I can see 2 Marines chatting to some women. Fuck, they are big. I see women asking the Marines questions, then shaking their heads, or the Marines ask something and the woman shakes her head. I say to Sam that the extractions still look pretty tame, and she agrees. Eve looks at the extraction, then at Larry, then at myself, then at the extraction again. Quite a few test drives are going on, but nothing really degrading. Eve stands up, sheds her clothes while looking at me, then heads over to the orgy, looking back only once, but at me, not at Larry, which puts an even bigger pout on his face. The second Marines see her coming and intercept her before another interested person can get to her. They appear to be trying charm on her as they are all smiles, and she turns for them, showing her body, answering their questions, and doesn't leave like the other women did. Next thing we see, they fucked. Larry is almost crying at seeing this. I tell him that she willingly did the same with me and her girlfriends and asked for more. I then asked what he thought I should do with him, as he tried changing information in our database so Eve could come to Arcadia when he knew I wouldn't allow her to come. He didn't say a word. He just sat there with his head hanging down. I told him I no longer trusted him and that he was guilty of corruption and accepting a bribe. He just hung his head even lower. I asked him for his ULT and Arcadia card, telling him he was no longer mayor of Arcadia. I then asked Sam to revoke his access to the website and everything else he had access to. Your cap testing said you were easily manipulated by pretty women, and you sure proved that correct, didn't you, Larry? You should count your blessings. We aren't on Arcadia already. As you know, the punishment for your crimes would be death. I guess you can always go take the Confederacy cap test again and hope to be in another pickup. I see the test drives are about done now. Eve nods her head while looking dazed, cum seeping out her ass and one hand wiping it from her face until one of the Marines slaps her ass, making her jump and scream, "Yes, I do!" That wakes Larry up and he runs to a Marine saying he has a 6.5 cap card. The Marine checks his name and says yes he does, but he is part of Arcadia and had revoked his volunteering for the Confederacy, so the Confederacy cannot take him. I knew that none of the 5 scientists had revoked their volunteering for the Confederacy, so knew they'd be taken tonight. Larry tells him he is no longer with Arcadia, and that Guardian Prime is here and could tell him that too. Larry leads the Marine to me, and after the Marine asks, I tell him that yes, Larry was just fired here tonight, and so is no longer part of Arcadia. The Marine thanks me, then turns to Larry and asks, "Are you volunteering for the Confederacy?" Larry says yes he is, and the Marine tells him it's his lucky day. Then, as this is a pickup and he is allowed 2 concubines, so he better hurry and pick them. Larry runs to where Eve is blowing one of the Marines again, yelling that he can take her. The unoccupied Marine steps in front of him, saying that Eve is their conch and for him to fuck off. The Marine then turns around and starts fucking Eves. Larry falls to the ground crying, "No, no, no." And at the end, when it's time to leave, one of the Marines that was fucking Eve grabs Larry and throws him through the transporter. Eve looks towards me with sad eyes as she walks towards the transporter, and I just smile at her. "Want to kill me, eh, bitch?" The gray curtain disappears, and the people that got test-driven but not taken start looking around for their clothes. I don't see any of the scientists' family members anywhere, so I guess they all got taken. Well, wasn't that a lot of fun? Let's go pay for the private dining room, then head back to the J&J, I say as I feel my phone buzz telling me I got a message. I see the message is from Dean asking me to call him. I pay the bill, and we are back aboard the J&J when I call Dean. "Hey, Dean, I got your message. What's up?" "DD, could you meet with Marcia and I tomorrow morning?" "Sure, Dean. Is 9 a.m. good for you both? Can you tell me what you want to see me about?" 9 a.m. is good, DD. "Yeah, Marcia and I are having second thoughts about staying here on Earth, and we both wanted to talk to you more about Arcadia. I'm also interested in what you'd do with the company if we came to Arcadia." "Okay, that's great news for me, Dean. We'll talk in the morning and answer any questions you both have. Do you mind if all my girls are with me? They may be able to give you guys a different point of view. Oh, and if you know someone who'd make a good city mayor, let me know. I find I am in need of a new one. Bring all your girls, DD. Marcia would love to meet them. And I guess maybe you were too young and don't remember that Marcia was the mayor here for more than 10 years when you were a little tyke." "Damn, I don't remember that. Excellent. You know I'm going to try the hard sell on her tomorrow, don't you?" "Yes, I know, DD. You probably won't need to try too hard, though, but we'll talk in the morning. Go spend time with your girls, and we'll see you in the AM." "So we are meeting Dean, and I'm guessing his wife tomorrow? About anything interesting?" Sam says. I tell Sam and Delilah about my conversation with Dean and that Marcia was a mayor for more than 10 years when I was younger. So I may not need to hunt too hard for a new one.
That would be nice, DD. Just keep in mind what you know about old politicians, though. Speaking of politicians, the first keeping tabs on our conspiracy politicians inform me that they are talking about nationalizing R&D companies once they get the Confederacy to start supplying them with weapons for fighting the swarm with. Arcadia R&D was specifically mentioned by them. Huh. Well, if Dean and Marcia come to Arcadia with us, I'd probably sell it then. With them and a majority of our employees coming to Arcadia, along with this news, I have no reason to keep it. Remind me to mention this tomorrow when we speak to Dean. It's just myself, Sam, and Delilah romping together tonight as two and two. 3 are on duty until midnight. I wake momentarily and give them each a soft kiss when they slide into bed with us and am immediately asleep again. Good morning again. A great coffee, then off for training. Things were going a bit better, meaning I was concentrating and seeing the area around me better, until Sam, Delilah, 2, 2, and 2, 3 showed up. Fuck me, but their workout outfits should be illegal. Needless to say, my concentration went in the tank, and I got hit by more and more tennis balls. One got pissed and said that this was exactly why she didn't want them around when I was training. I told her it was better I got used to something like this here where it was safe for me to fuck up than to see scantily clad women at the wrong time and get fucked up. I told one to give me time and it wouldn't affect me so much. I needed a cold shower but took a hot one anyways. Ha 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 ha. A great breakfast from Chef, another coffee, and we get the reports from everyone that things are tranquil and unchanged. I told Sam to call Trank and thank him for his help last night. Trank said that Larry had still been in a funk when the ship departed the system and may need to be retested. Oh, fuck. Not good for him. We had Chef put together a 24-piece variety donut box along with 6 cups of coffee and 2 medium Tim Hortons French vanillas. Dean and I both loved the French vanillas from Timmy's, to take with us for our meeting with Dean and Marcia. Sam, 2, 2, and 2, 3, said they weren't interested in having a coffee or donut. I replied, more for us then. We stopped by to see Mark first, but he was out, so we headed up to Dean's office. We offer Karen, Dean's secretary, a coffee and donut, which she accepts while telling us Dean and Marcia should be arriving shortly. I tell her no worries as we are early. Before I can start the introductions to her, Dean comes running in through the door, with Marcia following behind, laughing her head off. Dean's eyes spy out the box of donuts as he says, "I smell Timmy's French vanilla. You better have one for me too, DD." "Well, good morning to you too, Dean," I say as I point out his cup to him. "And good morning to you, Marcia," I say, giving her a kiss on the cheek and a coffee of her own. I introduce the girls to Marcia and Karen, and they take a few minutes to chit-chat a bit. Marcia and Karen are amazed that Delilah is an actual elven, as they, like most people on Earth, had read stories about elves but always thought they were fairy tales. They were beyond amazed when told that Sam, 2, 2, and 2, 3, and all first were actually energy beings in lifelike bodies that have only been recently created by first scientists. They had doubts until I had my security team appear, and they couldn't touch them. Marcia and Karen both snickered and glanced at me when Sam pointed out that their bodies were fully functional and anatomically correct, and that I had told them I couldn't tell any difference between theirs and a real body. Then Delilah piped in that she couldn't either, causing even more giggles from the women and a smirk from Dean. Dean led all of us into his office, and after we grabbed seats on the couches and chairs, he explains that Marcia, Karen, and he were having second thoughts about staying on Earth, and they would like to ask us about Arcadia. The 3 of them. Well, that was news to me, so I grinned while raising an eyebrow and pointed at each of them, saying, "You 3? Together? Ooh." This got a couple blushes from Marcia and Karen, but they both still looked me in the eyes and said yes. Dean said they all had taken the enhanced CAP test and wanted to know what other requirements there was. I asked them to give their cards to Sam, saying that there weren't any set-in-stone requirements, and that it was more about who would be a good fit for Arcadia. "Sam, let me know what you think about them." I asked if they had gone over the website and if they knew Arcadia wasn't a democracy, that it was a benevolent dictatorship and I was the benevolent dictator. I told them that doing what was right for Arcadia and the people of Arcadia was part of my duties as Guardian Prime, and that I had Sam and the girls to ride herd on me so I wouldn't become a power-hungry dictator. DD, all 3 are highly acceptable, and I am surprised that Karen has not been contacted already by Larry. I think we will need to go over the entire database and list of people that Larry contacted and double-check everything. I'll get some first on it right away. Dean says they have gone over everything on the website and don't believe things would be too different than they are now. They were concerned about what they would do, as R&D on Arcadia would be far advanced from what it is here on Earth, and especially what Marcia could do. Dean was also concerned about what I would do with the company if they came to Arcadia. Sam gave them their Arcadia cards back, as I tell them that apparently my ex-mayor dropped the ball and that Karen should have been contacted about going to Arcadia. I reminded Dean that I had already told him that he and Marcia were more than welcome, and that yes, the R&D would be more advanced, but running an R&D company wouldn't be. "Dean, we recently heard that some politicians are contemplating nationalizing R&D companies when the Confederacy starts to give them weapons to work with, and Arcadia R&D was mentioned by name. The politicians in question have reason to dislike me, so I believe what we've heard. I want you to put out a rumor or two, anonymously of course, that I'm thinking of selling the company. Let's see if there is any interest. I'd like it kept to ourselves for now that you are coming to Arcadia, but if it does get out, we won't deny it." Dean smiles and says he can and will make that happen. "Now, as to what you could do, Marcia, I seem to be in need of a new mayor for Arcadia and would like to know if you'd be interested. First, though, have you looked at the laws and sentences pertaining to positions in government? And second, would you be able to implement how I want Arcadia run and not how you think it should be run? Discussion about things will always be welcome. But in the end, I would have the final say in what gets implemented. I understand if you need time to think about it, but please let me know as soon as you can if you're interested. Can you tell me why you have an ex-mayor? The person I had as mayor was fired for corruption and bribery. He was trying to get his girlfriend on the approved list even though he knew she was not and never would be approved. Oh my! I've read what the penalties for those crimes on Arcadia will be. Was he killed? No, he wasn't. We are still on Earth, so he was fired and told he would no longer be going to Arcadia. This happened last night at the steakhouse. At the steakhouse? Wasn't there a Confederacy pickup there last night? Yes, there was, and yes, it happened when we were there. Larry, my ex-mayor, was fired during the pickup and was eventually taken himself as he had his 6.5 Confederacy cap card with him. Unfortunately, his girlfriend, the girl who he was trying to take to Arcadia with him and was there at the restaurant with him, had earlier decided to take part in the pickup and was taken by 2 Marines before he got his shit together. The 3 of us been talking this over for a while now, Dee, and we've gone over every section of the website numerous times. I don't need any more time to think about being your new mayor. I'll gladly take the position. When can I start? Excellent, Marcia. Get with Sam to go over everything and get up to speed. Things need to get done and people need to be contacted. We also need for you to get the medical checkup, ULT, and other things done right away. Sam, would it be faster to give Marcia the information for all the things Larry was working on via sleep training? Could it be done during the medical, or does it have to be via the sleep trainer? She can be given the information during her medical, sire. Okay, great, do that then. Dean and Karen, if you want, you can both get yours done at the same time Marcia does. The whole process usually takes a couple hours unless something during the medical is discovered. We can get you all done tonight if you want. Marcia, I'd like you to get your done tonight, if not sooner. Let Sam know what you all decide. I can go with Sam right now if that's okay with her. The sooner she can get me started on what I need to know and do the better. Okay then. Let's take Marcia up to the J&J and then see Sarah. Any other questions we can answer for you? None? Dean, Karen. Sam will pick you up at whatever time you're available. If you think of questions later on, please give Sam or myself a call. Sam, we'll call you once we are done work and come up then to get everything done, Dean says. On board the J&J, we give Marcia a quick tour while Sam explains the ULT works, how the information will be passed to her during the medical checkup, and the process for the checkup itself. Marcia says, let's get it done then, and gets into the med bed. Sam tells her we'll see her in a couple hours. We transport down to the orphanage and update Sarah on plans for the orphanage on Arcadia, letting her know we'll take as many as we can on the initial trip as we'll have housing for approximately 25,000 people in total. The plan is to have around 1 adult for every 25 or so orphans. The orphanage on the website will be updated in a day or 2 with the changes. Sarah then introduces us to an elderly lady she calls Gran, and tells us Gran has been helping her keep everything organized. She tells us that Gran and some of her friends have been chatting up the kids living there, and the kids have come to think of them as grandparents. Gran is the one she would like to have run things here on Earth after we all go to Arcadia. We chat with Sarah and Gran for a while and find out Gran would love to keep the orphanage running after we leave, especially if we are going to take more kids at a later date. I offer her an Arcadian medical checkup and ask her if she knows more seniors that would be interested in doing on Arcadia what she and her friends are doing with the kids here. I tell her that if any were interested in going, they'd get the full Arcadia medical too, which would add around 25 good years to their lives. Gran said there is a seniors internet group she belongs to, and she would ask some of them. Told her to make sure and tell any that were interested to go to a Confederacy testing center and ask for the enhanced CAP test. She'd be more than welcome to come too if she was interested. We could even take her on the last trip when we close the orphanage here for good, if that was what she wanted. She tells me she'll think about it and the medical checkup and let me know. We take our leave and head back up to the J&J as it's almost time for Marcia to come out of the med bed. The first doc is showing Sam Marcia's medical results, and Sam gets a concerned look on her face. DD, Marcia has early-stage breast cancer. It is easily curable with our med beds and will take about 3 hours if she agrees to be treated. When she comes out of the med bed, I'd like to inform her of the results without you being here. It's something she should be told in private. I have no problem with that, Sam. But please make sure to stress to Marcia from the start that the cancer is 100% curable. If she knows that right from the start, it may make the news less stressful for her. Call me when I can come back and we'll go from there. I leave and head to the dining room for a quick coffee and a Boston cream donut while waiting for Sam to tell Marcia the news. Bad news, yes, but with Arcadia's medical technology, it's no longer life-threatening news. Sam lets me know I can come back to the med bay, and when I walk in, I see a 10-mile-wide smile on Marcia's face. I see you're taking the news very well, Marcia. Sam and the doctor both tell me it's 100% curable, so while I was scared at first, I no longer am. She tells me it will be gone after 3 hours in the med bed, and I won't feel a thing during the procedure. Sam told me the same. I take it you are going to get the treatment done right away? Did you want to call Dean and let him know? Yes, I'm getting the treatment right away. And no, I'm not going to tell Dean right now. There is nothing he can do, and I don't want him to worry for nothing. I will tell him and Karen both when they come up for their medicals. Okay, I guess we'll see you in around 3 hours then. Well, what would you ladies like to do for 3 hours? I shouldn't have asked. Shopping, all four reply.